only as a result of the popular negligence towards receiving communion. It was a tendency since the late antiquity, because you have even the canons which say that, I think second canon of Antioch, Council of Antioch, which says that whoever goes into the church does not stay until the readings and does not turns away from the Holy Communion and leaves, is excommunicated. And he should do penance before he comes back to receive, so that he would receive again. But the connection between the confession and the Eucharist would be only a result of that people need to be reconciled when they brought back into the church, sort of in a sense be brought back into the church, which does not say that there were no penitential practices existed. Penitential, or for instance, in the monastic life, the people would, or in ascetical life, people would come and receive. And this was in place, but not with that strict connection.
Vitaly, I did thank you for your excellent presentation, but I think that people that we have in here would like to know a little bit more, and that we gotta put an emphasis on the symbol and the usage of the symbol in the sacrament in the rite we have it today. The way we have it, it is what we have right now. And also, I have another question, because I see the tendency among theologians who ordain the priesthood trying to make step backwards and to offer the Holy Sacrament of matrimony within the context of the liturgy celebration, in order to make it event of the whole parish and to do something that is right. But obviously, what we see from manuscripts, it was about the Eucharist, but not necessarily within the liturgy.
Yes.
And the Eucharist celebration.
Well, in the Western, for instance, in the Western liturgy, you would have traditionally you would not have a Eucharist without Mass. So if you going to have a Eucharist, you celebrate the Mass. So that's why the Mass is daily, even during Lent, and except for the Holy Friday. But in the Eastern traditions, daily Eucharist does not mean daily liturgy. So it's possible to receive Eucharist daily, but it's not even daily or very frequently. But liturgy itself is a marriage feast of the Church, as if you would say. So it's an extremely festal celebration. It's the manifestation of the heavenly liturgy, and so it's possible to receive a sort of pharmacontis Athanasias, the medicine of immortality, which is the Eucharist, as long as you need. But traditionally, it's not practiced today, because today we don't give a Eucharist to the people, to everybody, and because for the very, very, very rightly, for the fear of, negligence, or the fear of...
What I would like explicitly to ask you is that the right thing to do, or there is no need for that? Personally, I think it is more important to focus on what we have right now, to unwrap the usage of the symbol and to speak with what we have, rather than to bring ourselves and the faithful to confusion, trying to do something that is not necessarily right and the traditional.
I think the connection between Eucharist and a wedding, it must be emphasized. That is, for instance, I'm not here to give advices to anybody, but it's just, I do think it's just a good thing to do. For instance, on the day of the wedding, for the bride and groom to go through, at least, go and receive communion. It's just, and then to get married. If even just before, because we do not. It so happens that the liturgy grows, and we do not have the communion within the rite of marriage today, because we have a pre-sanctified liturgy only during Lent and pre-sanctified Eucharist during Lent. And it's okay, because the liturgy develops, It's I mean, as our body is growing, the liturgy is also growing, and so and also there is an it's not a good thing to do something in the church on your own without, for instance, without obedience to one's bishop. If for instance, if you're not, or kind of, if you are prohibited to do so or your bishop is not comfortable with that, it's probably not a good thing to do, just for the sake of the peace of the church. But what I also would like to emphasize, that the connection must be there between Eucharist. Which way you do it is up to local customs, episcopal authority, and traditions of this local church, and all these factors together, which are very, very, very important. But the connection.
Churches have the tradition or the practice of the couple taking communion
During the
week before the wedding. You know, that's pretty common, I would believe.
But in case, for example, of interfaith marriages, would it be in that case, for example, that the church requires communion before or at the actual day, wedding day? Would that mean that interfaith marriages would be prohibited?
When interfaith marriages, you're speaking about marriage between different Christians, or because
different Christians.
If you have different religions completely, it's I think it's canonically off limits. But I think you have kind of certain guidelines which say that if you agree to raise your child in the Orthodox faith.